someone.
Well, he should say it.
Chicken.
Seriously.
Helping fire.
I'm working
That's
on
how it goes.
I'm working on getting
They're just good.
so I'm getting that dry hydrant, but it's pretty long there.
Hey, ladies and gentlemen, let's get all settled.
Nobody wants to sit in
6 o'clock. Time to start this meeting. First up, we're going to take care of something. Not while we're here, but Ryan, we called Sarah earlier about going to a budget workshop. How much was it?
It was $115. It was an HMA thing. It's in like a week and a half, I think. So, the budget committee, said that I should go because I haven't been to one yet, so it was already voted for.
Yeah, we got to vote for it.
And we don't have the budget committee does not have a budget, so we
Yeah,
can't pay for it.
No, yeah, that's why we gotta vote to allow it.
Yeah.
So I'll make a motion that we pay for Ryan to go to the NHMA budget workshop. Thank you for wanting to go.
Yeah.
I'll second.
We'll look forward to the feedback when you listen to what they have to say.
8 hours up in Littleton, so we'll be
It's in Littleton, our Opera House.
Oh, I don't know. It's somewhere. I didn't bring the paper.
Littleton's a nice place.
Nice having you again.
Yeah.
And you should be able to go in and sign up for yourself, but if you have any trouble, just give me a call, I'll do it.
I appreciate you guys working again, thanks.
Okay, we're here tonight because we understand that some people in town have felt that we have been picking on or being mean to the rec committee. We're not. Had some concerns brought up to us that we'd like to get straight before this goes on. And this is the Grafton Palooza. Shindig on the 11th.
October 11th, 12 to 11.
Yeah. I know the fire department, the ambulance, and the police department have all brought concerns to us. We're not doing public comment right now. I'll just keep all your notes, and then we'll get everyone's comments, concerns. Let's get through this. So I don't know how you wanna, is Ethan here?
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, I'm sorry, I never met you. So you wanna start with him and,
Sure. So can you give us a little background of this? When did you come to know the rec committee?
So I came to the rec committee last year, September 17th, 2024. August, sorry. This was just an idea I had, just out of the blue. I went to school for music, and I thought, why not have just a music fest to get people together to, enjoy music, help local bands get known, profit is exposure. So as far as profit goes, this entire event that I planned is non-profit. Every single cent. So tickets are $5. Every cent that we make is going right back to the rec committee. I'm not making money off of this. The bands aren't making money off of this. I told all the bands that I booked this is a non-profit event, but you can make money by selling merch, anything like that, CDs. But everybody that is booked for this event knows that this is not a paid event, and every single cent that we will make is going right back to the rec committee for donations. And this has been planned for over a year, and I've been going to the meetings ever since to follow up with them, to give them updates on concerns, etc.
Did they ever mention that maybe you ought to go talk to the selectmen?
They never said about this stuff to me. It wasn't too a concern until a month until the event.
Right, nobody has come before the board. And when I first started seeing or hearing about that, I thought it was a joke. It just seemed outlandish. So,
Well, this has been advertised since last year.
it hasn't been advertised to the Board of Selectmen, and we're the ones that control the rec field, and we're the ones to whom we give permission to use it or not to use it. So we've just been left guessing.
But the select board was made aware of it numerous times.
Ed, you never brought it up in the board meeting.
The most was,
When we had,
I'm not gonna argue with the
okay, then
statement,
don't argue, I'm just stating
it's
a
on
fact.
tape.
Yes.
It's on tape that during,
During a selectmen's meeting that it was brought up.
Leaf brought it up.
Yes.
Yes, one time. You didn't bring it up, and that's what I said. You never brought it up. Leaf brought it up. He called you on it. So that's the difference. When we had the ex officio reports, and we have them every single meeting, did Ed ever bring it up? Not one peep. Never. So that's when it should have been brought up. It really should have been. If it's advertised on Facebook, that's all well and good, but we don't go looking for what's going on in town by going to Facebook, so. Unfortunately, that doesn't work. So anyway, do you have any references or a resume for yourself? And you are the one that's putting on this, festival?
Yes, I'm a booker and promoter, and I do have a college diploma. I didn't bring any references yet, but I can certainly give you.
We'd like some references.
I used to work at a concert venue being a stage coordinator down in Meadowbrook. And, yeah, I can give you all the proof to you that I'm official and know how to do all of this.
And all the bands you just mentioned before, they're all playing for no fees.
Yes, I told all
Okay.
16 bands that are booked that this is a non-profit, you're not making a dime to play, but you can make additional profit.
They could sell CDs and things like that.
If they want to, yes.
Yeah. Well, that seems fair. Do you know how many tickets you've sold so far?
So on the Eventbrite, I sold literally 3 tickets total. I bought one just to test, to see if it worked. But Shirley did mention, this is probably going to be, someone's going to, it's probably going to be like the weather's great, let's go to the Grafton Palooza. It might just be like a
Spur of the moment type thing.
day of decision kind of.
Yeah, if it rains, you're not gonna get much of a turnout, I don't think, so yeah, I could see something like that.
Yeah, I'm not, for me, I'm not expecting more than the Grafton fireworks capacity.
That's still a lot of people.
We can definitely.
Who's in charge of contacting police, ambulance, fire? If you're any police department there,
I think it would be a good idea, but we haven't really, I have mentioned to these guys a couple times last year, it would be a good idea. I think it's a good idea. Like all bands and everybody, this is a family-friendly event, no riffraff, all respect, please respect the property, anything like that, so everybody is respectful about it.
the bands are one thing, the people they bring in, the people that come to them are a totally different thing.
Oh yeah, that's the thing, there's gonna be out
So
of town
we-
people. But I still think it's a good idea to have.
So as of now, there's no plans to have police there, ambulance, or any EMS, fire or ambulance.
The last meeting I went to, I did talk to fire department of Canaan, about it. I talked to 2 chiefs, I believe, I forget which names, but they were concerned about it and I told them all about it and I did alleviate their fears absolutely. And they think it was okay.
We were just told that you had everything under control,
Yeah.
that's all. You didn't tell us you had police at all or anything like that. Nothing
Oh, yeah.
organized for that.
Oh yeah, no, but like I did discuss 2 police that mentioned, I think they were there also, but about possibly having police on board for safety and possibly a
So
safety
my
plan.
concern was, when I saw on Facebook, one of the first questions on it is that camping
Absolutely not.
and fire, no fires, but there will be no
No
fire
fires.
events.
Absolutely no.
I will not allow one.
Yeah.
If we do, we'll be down there, put it out.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I will not even allow that at all. No fires or camping.
And with the drought like it is, there'll be no fireworks this time.
Absolutely. No, first thing is safety for me, absolutely. Working at the venue, number 1 safety.
or sit if you prefer.
That's what I prefer standing.
Okay.
quicker either way. So yeah, what I was most worried about is no police have been notified or been scheduled. No ambulance. The fire department hasn't been notified.
Can I interrupt right there? The old fire chief was.
The old
He
fire,
was at one of our meetings.
He hasn't been fire chief in a long time.
When was
It's been
that?
less than a year.
Well, yeah, well,
We've
it's
been
been
discussing
months
this
since
for
he's
over
been
a year.
Nobody's contacted the new fire chief.
You
He's
never
in the
told me.
dark.
I don't know what's passed around the fire station and what's not, but
Okay.
he was at one of our meetings and he knew about it.
but that's like saying, well, someone told Russell. Russell's been gone for a while.
Right.
It doesn't matter. No one
We
told
didn't know there
the
was gonna
chief.
be a new fire chief. We had him come and we told him what was going on.
Did you know we had a new fire chief?
I just found out.
Next
Oh,
time.
we got Ed, he knew we had a new fire chief.
Yeah, I went to the rec committee to find out what was going on, but nobody notified me. I'm looking out for the safety of this town, believe me.
So that's why we're here. The
Right.
safety of the town. We're not picking on the rec committee, we're not being mean to them.
No,
No.
We're addressing concerns that the town has about Grafton
Now, this has
Palooza.
been advertised for over a year on Facebook. And you mean tell me, I know you're on Facebook, I know a lot of people on Facebook, and you didn't see it? Just like Jenny Joyce told me, oh, I didn't see it.
I never said I didn't see it. I was surprised that nobody came before the board to ask permission. You know,
Does the
we're
Garlic
the ones
Fest have
that,
to
with
be?
the selectmen
They do
are in
come to
charge
us
of
and ask
provincial
permission. They do
affairs
now,
of
though.
town.
They always have.
No, that's not what they said on Facebook.
We don't go by Facebook.
Can I just say something before I do have to leave to go to work, and I am sorry, but I am part of the rec committee. I stepped away a lot last year and probably a little bit more this year. Last year I had a senior that graduated, this year my other child is a senior. Poor planning on our part, but, so I do project grad. But we did talk to Ethan, we did vet him. I did not know that we would have to go before the select board for this. My one question or concern or comparison would be, what is the difference between what we're doing with this particular event to what we're doing with the Independence Day celebration, that we do the parade, we get everybody out there. I apologize because I forget the new chief of fire's name, but he was at our last meeting where we had mentioned, because I had asked, should we let Kanan know, to which his response was, no, we're gonna lean towards Bristol now for community calls. Which is fine, I don't care, but so these were questions, and I do apologize, I was not at every meeting last year because I had Project Grad. So I guess that's my question, is it's the same thing, it's still a family-friendly event. Instead of the petting zoo and the Ladies Benevolent Society selling stuff in the library, selling their books, we're just doing music. It's a wristband to enter. There's still no drinking in public no matter where you are, whether we put, which I know Ethan did revise the new poster so that it's clear that there's no alcohol. There's no bear tent. The only thing that I would suggest is 2 weekends ago for Labor Day, Poorhouse Brewery in Canaan shut down the Green. They had bands there. They also served alcohol, which is different. They're a restaurant. They have that license to be able to do so. And there was an incident. So I don't want to see anything bad happen to Grafton.
I can answer that.
Hold on. I don't want to see anything bad to happen. What I would like to do, which is the whole reason why I joined the rec department, is to see more things for people to do, more things outside. And I would prefer it to not be so divided, where if this group is putting on an event, only certain people are gonna go, or this group is putting on an event, so only those people are gonna go. It would be, we thought when Ethan came that this would be a great way to get anyone in town. The music is all different types of music. It's not just one straight, I know there was concerns that it was going to turn into a rock concert. I have been to numerous concerts in my entire life, all of bands that you would maybe think would be rioted. This is not going to be a 99 Woodstock. This is not going to be something where, we're out going crazy all night. We want this home and done at a respectable hour. We want young kids, middle school, high school kids, college kids to come and just listen to music and have a good time, and outside, instead of being stuck inside.
Yeah, well, no, I appreciate all of what you've done for the Independence Day. That's something that we have every year, that's been going on for many years, so that one is, we know what to expect. This is something that we've never had before. It's a music festival. It's gonna be going on late into the night, and from the lack of planning, that we were concerned, and you're right, I have seen it on Facebook, and I've asked Ed numerous times to get in touch with our emergency departments to see if they would come up with a plan, and it never happened. And I know you said that you talked to Chief Go, but he didn't get the answers that he wanted. He didn't get any specifics, so I think.
He got specifics. I can't give him any more than what you were given tonight.
What have we been given tonight?
Is there
That there's no
something that we
camping,
could do
there's no
right now?
fires.
There's no police,
Continue?
there's no ambulance, there's no fire.
No medical tent?
Alright, so, I'm the one that initially asked back in June about if there was an emergency plan in place.
Did you come to the rec meeting?
No, I had commented on Facebook, but you seem to like Facebook with things, so why is that any different than the advertising is on Facebook?
Who are you?
I am Megan.
Okay,
I don't-
we're gonna try to keep this civil.
Right, so,
Please.
but to answer your question,
Yeah.
the concern is at an event like this, there is, hold on, back up. For 4th of July, all of us emergency personnel know we have to be there. We know we have to be available or try to, whatever. We have very few members on the ambulance and on the fire department, even our police department. And we are also volunteer on fire and ambulance.
Right.
And if we cannot be available, that means there is no emergency response in town. It now has to go to mutual aid, whichever direction it has to go in. That weekend in particular, I don't know what is going on in other towns or,
It's
with them and
Columbus Day
whatever.
weekend, so I would
Right.
imagine it's gonna be. the
Which
whole
means it
state's
could be
gonna
very busy,
right?
right? So if there's an emergency down in the field and you don't have anybody that's available to respond or a first aid tent or anything like that, and say Canaan's already on a call, they don't have any other personnel to respond, Enfield, the same boat we're in, they're volunteer, they have very few members, that brings Lebanon. Lebanon's always busy on holiday weekends. That, it just pushes it further and further and further, which means that as far as emergency care goes, you're not gonna get it in a timely fashion. Accidents happen as far as fire goes. People smoke cigarettes even. Somebody puts a cigarette out on the ground, it lights a fire, it's an accident, it happens. We have very little water available anywhere in the state right now. It's all those little things that we respond to. And to not have a plan in place or to not inform the departments that respond to those, that's the concern. So that's why I was the one that initially had asked the question of, is there an emergency plan? That should have been brought to the select board. The select board could have also then brought it to the departments or called a meeting for all to, sit down and have this conversation, a while ago. Back in June when I first brought it up, we were all planning 4th of July. So I had said back then to everybody, let's table it until after the 4th of July and whatnot, At the time, personally, I was going through a job transition, so it did totally go a little bit to the wayside over the last month. This spark, I don't know what, but we were told last I knew that everything had been set and planned and the rec committee had it figured out basically. That's all I had heard, and so I'm not a chief. I am just an EMT that volunteers for the ambulance. I'm on the fire department. But I work full time as an EMT in Canaan as well. That is my full-time job. So, as your emergency responder, that's a big concern for me. Also, personally, that day, I won't be around because my son has a football game that I have to go to, and it happens to be an evening game. So that means we have very few other responders, for the ambulance.
I am the EMS chief. We have so few people to cover, that there's like 3 of us, and it's hard to get it. Half of our calls this year, Canaan's had to come and cover because we haven't had people to cover. We are a 911 emergency. We don't do events. We can't. So if you're gonna have a big gathering like that, and it's sounding smaller than what I thought, I mean, I was hearing, let's talk, and it's like, oh, you can park at the fire station. No, you can't park at the fire station. We gotta get in and out of there. You need to hire an ambulance that's gonna be there to provide anything on there. Canaan can do it. They'll provide an ambulance and 2 EMTs for $180 an hour. I have heard that Golden Cross does it for less.
Yeah.
And if they have something there and the person needs to be transported, they call us or Canaan and we will transport the person and they stay there and take care of everybody. And for this kind of thing, because it's sounding like fireworks, it's our neighboring towns and us. This is sounding like you're pulling from a bigger area with other people and stuff. So it sounds like it should have, an ambulance on scene.
Should be put note of it.
And Canaan knows, that this is going on and that we're short-staffed. And, they're prepared to, be able to come for a 911 call, not to cover unless you hire them to come. So that's our concerns, is that, we can't do events.
So Kat, what is the, cause I know we used to station, when the race cars were going on, we would put a helicopter there specifically so that if somebody needed to be transported out, we could lift them. And they obviously contracted us. Is there rules around how many people or what the number is that you have to have an ambulance on site? Because we don't have one on July 4th, and you guys are up.
Again, it's.
Oh, no, I know that, I'm not arguing with you. I don't, the rules on that, I don't know.
I don't know about rules.
Okay.
I'm talking about safety. We don't have people to continually be running down there for boo-boos.
Okay.
We don't have it. Megan's not gonna be in town. I'm not sure if I'm heard, there's a training session that I've been looking forward to that might be Friday, Saturday, which means I wouldn't be here Saturday and stuff, so this is the hard part. We're having trouble just covering the regular 911 calls in town. And if something happens in town, that's our first priority.
Oh, right, yeah.
So this is why I think, unless you're gonna have a very small crowd, that, you need to think about.
If it's like what we have on our Independence Day celebration, we can handle that, and we know that. We've done it. But reading the posters and looking at some of the bands, it raises, and the hours. That's a long time, and it has, in my mind, the possibility of attracting thousands. So I don't know, you say you've only sold 3 tickets so far. I don't know if I don't know who's gonna show up. It's a big unknown, and that's why there's a concern, and we feel that we need to have something in place, at least a meeting of the minds, so we know what our roles are gonna be when this thing happens.
And even on the 4th of July for the fireworks, how many officers do we have?
Usually a minimum of 2, some years more.
That's just for, traffic and stuff like that.
My biggest concern is we don't have a 1976 Canaan incident. For those who never knew about that.
I wasn't alive, we won't.
No, it was bad.
Well, and I think that was, so I am on Facebook, but I try to stay with it a little bit. And so my concern was that a lot of people on Facebook were bringing that up. I don't think that was our intention at all, or Ethan's intention at all.
I don't think it wasn't their intention to have 10,000, 20,000 people in Canaan that weekend.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Well, and I don't believe, what I'm hoping is that people are not hearing the word Palooza. I mean, I was at those festivals in the 90s. This is not that. We're not gonna bring in different tents and rock the boat and a water house and the foam parties and all that stuff. We're not, this is literally, it's the band not the band that is here for Independence Day, it's just a group of different bands that are gonna come on set. And the hours have to be, because you have to remember each band is gonna tear down their set, and then they're gonna the next band is gonna bring on their equipment as well. It's more, I think our picture was more people on blankets, people in the field, just kind of listening to music, very mellow, not, and maybe the word Palooza did kind of raise flags, but that was not, I don't believe, that was not the intention that anything came to us with or kind of expressed to us. More of like, yeah, just come enjoy the music outside. If it's a beautiful day, I mean, obviously if it rains, it's gonna be horrible because
Right.
no one's gonna wanna be out there in the rain.
That was my concern, I
and
remember
the-
1976.
Yeah, no, and the firework piece was, when we were planning it, it was just the vendor who does the fireworks was willing to come. Obviously, everything right now is in a standstill. We have a meeting tomorrow night at the high school to figure out whether or not we're gonna have a bonfire for the senior class. Because even though it's a controlled burn, it's still, anything could happen, that field is dry, like, so we're not overlooking the fact that this is a drought and the worst drought in New Hampshire and Vermont in the last 20 so years. And obviously things are going to change because, you know, yeah, we can't do fireworks. It's gonna light the field on fire.
But you're saying no fireworks, no campfires.
And nobody's camping.
But who's monitoring this to make sure the things that you're saying can't happen, don't happen? Who's gonna monitor that people aren't drinking? And
So
we
the
have police
drinking
and
piece,
laws.
let me,
We
I will,
have police and laws, and
where's the police?
But on the weekend, we
Well,
don't
has
have
anybody
pickup.
asked the
the
police?
hard thing, the
Our
drinking.
4th of July celebration, we have people that drink there.
I was just gonna say,
And
we
have a hard
can't
time
monitor,
controlling it.
just
Yeah.
like, if I walked in here with my water bottle,
Right.
you're gonna assume that I'm drinking water, maybe I'm drinking vodka, maybe I'm drinking rum. Probably not, 'cause I'm going to work, but, that's the issue, is the drinking, we can advertise that there's no drinking, there is no beer tent, there is nobody selling. But just like the July 4th celebration, we have no way
No, I know.
to
but-
tackle
but-
something, like unless they're
but if it's-
openly.
But the problem is, if it's going on and causes a problem, have you got somebody that's gonna take care of it?
You mean like the bouncer?
Just
Yeah,
in
like
general,
security.
security, police coverage, anything like that.
We're all
Because
gonna be
again, one
walking
thing you
around,
did,
we're all gonna be walking around monitoring for fires. If somebody looks drunk, that's when we get a hold of one of the officers.
If it gets crowded there, and it might not, like I said, I don't know,
Is
but if
there
it's
a-
crowded
is
there,
there a
then
number?
communication becomes an issue. How do you find the other, how do you find help? Do you have walkie-talkie?
Yeah.
Yes, we have
radios.
walkie-talkies that's hooked right up to the fire department and the
I was
ambulance.
just asking Mitchell if we had police coverage on weekends now.
is there a limit to how many people that
Or in the
can go
field,
on the
yeah.
fire?
What's that?
Is there
Yeah.
a limit to how many people can be? at the field?
Well, here's I'm gonna rephrase that. Is there a limit to the number of tickets you can sell?
We could do that, we could put a limit on it.
We're
I
gonna
see
have
that
cars.
How you gonna stop people
Yeah.
just coming in? What are you gonna have a ticket booth, someone go out and buy a ticket?
Yes.
That's a big bill. Well, who the hell's gonna monitor around
We're
and
having
people
it,
walking in?
we're having it fenced off.
We're gonna
Yeah,
have,
right.
we're gonna have,
What about the people that live right next door?
what's that orange fence called?
I mean,
Same
this is
thing as the 4th of July Independence.
We'll be having it fenced off.
it's a public park, like, people can come to the public park, they can
Right,
get those,
it's
and they
like-
can just come, right?
Snow fence, that's what it's
But it's
called.
gonna be on late at night, so that's
That's
a little different.
Well, if it's a
I
family
don't know what kind
event,
of music's
families
gonna be
gonna leave
going on.
earlier.
It's
The
the
kids
same
aren't gonna stay
time
that late.
as the fireworks, so we timed it exactly so that it would be it would be the same hours as the fireworks. It should not be going till midnight, 1, 2 o'clock, no. It would, my understanding is it's gonna
10
be
o'clock.
1 PM to 10 PM.
So I noticed that when the Independence Day comes, the next day the rec field looks pretty clean.
Yes.
Yeah,
Is
that's,
that your plan this year too?
Yes.
Yeah.
Do you have the manpower to do that?
Yes.
I plan on picking up that night as well. I am a OCD cleaner, so I'll probably be out there till 2 in the morning, just picking stuff up because I just want it to be clean and not have a bad representation of eating a.
Yeah, you wanna put your best foot forward. I'm getting that impression, and
I do do apologize, I do have to leave, but I hope that we can figure this all out.
Okay, we
Have a
appreciate your
good, have a
input.
good night, guys.
Angela, I'll text you later.
I'm gonna ask Mitchell to come up and talk about the police part of this.
Get excited from here, or do you want to come up? Everyone else is back. You're gonna single me out, make me walk up? Yeah, so, I know Ethan approached me, it was, I think, like in April or March, I don't know if you can correct me, sometime in that time frame. I remember it as being more of a general inquiry about, details and things like that, and so I gave him our detail price and things like that, but I just recently figured out that this event was actually happening, I think it was like last week. So, 4th of July, it's planned, and, even my officers, I got one officer who doesn't really work weekends, I have one that does, right? So, but I tell all my officers, that weekend I need you for. So, on a month's notice, it's harder for me to get officers around to say that they're gonna be there. And so I do have a statute that does say that my involvement in all this, having discretion over how many detail officers, and things like that. So, I've tried to come up with some numbers that I feel are fair for the rec committee and not just pulling these numbers out, right? So, I feel like a lot of the events at the rec field, because you guys usually do those like, market days, are you guys that's not you guys, okay, well, probably under 50 people show up, 50 to 100, and there's usually no officer presence, and there's no issue, right? So I'm thinking, I want to see actual ticket numbers or some type of fair estimate on how many people are going to show up. Because if it's going to be 50 to 100 people there at a given time, I can try to have an officer on duty, and hopefully there'll be no issues, right? I think anything over 100 to 500, I think we're going to need detail officers there, and I would say, and I called Meadowbrook to kind of get a rough estimate on what they try to have for attendance, number of attendees per officer, and it's from, they have an officer for about every 500 to 700 people. So, but then the other thing in Meadowbrook, they have their own security, and it's, usually it's on a way bigger scale. But I think if we stay in that 500 to 700 attendees, per, and I don't know, no estimates, I've heard nothing for estimates right now. So I'm just trying to give this maybe as a blanket rule that we can try to follow, that I would be on board with. So anything under, I'd say 100, I think one on-duty officer probably be fine, right? From 100 to 500, I think we're gonna need 2 detailed officers there. And then from 500 on, an additional officer, and then per 500 people until there's a cap, right? That would be my recommendation, and then, but without having any type of estimate, like Meadowbrook, when they do concerts, they have pretty precise estimates, and they know months ahead of time. And again, logistic-wise, am I gonna be able to get detail officers? I don't know, especially on this short notice. Like, I've heard about this kind of in the background, and I figured I hadn't heard anything, because I don't monitor Facebook on a regular basis. I can't keep up with all the drama and all that stuff on Facebook. So I don't monitor it regularly. Ethan did come in and mention it, but I hadn't heard until last week that this was a sure thing. So I don't even know if I'll be able to have one officer on duty that day at this point. It's definitely something I can try to do, and I can say probably I can, but I can't say for sure. And I would say that would be at about 100 capacities where I would want that officer to have to deal with that.
So, in other words, you may be able to have an officer there. But you don't know for sure yet.
But I don't want to task an officer with too big of a crowd. So I think anything over 100, we're going to need detail
So
officers.
what would we do if we needed another officer?
Well, the thing is, we could cap it at 500, say, no more than 500 people can attend.
And that would be okay? You think?
I don't think for one detail officer. That's why I said like the standard, market days and the garlic fest. I think they get under 100. Like,
Yeah.
as soon as you reach that 100 level, now you're talking about a bigger crowd, and things can go south.
So if we
pretty
need
fast.
if we need one on the fly,
If there's a legitimate
and we don't know how many
emergency,
people are going to be there. I guess that's the big thing. We just don't know.
yeah, and if it's under 100, that's where I would cap it. Is one officer could deal with possibly under 100 people, depending on the family nature of it and stuff like that. But I think once you reach that 100 people mark, now you're talking about a bigger crowd, and I wouldn't want one officer there without backup, because all it takes is one fight to break out, and you're gonna have one officer alone going into an absolute mess without anyone to back them up. So I would say 100 is the level. Anything over, and I can try to have a officer that will just work at and pay out of my budget. Anything over 100, I would say that we need to have 2 detail officers there. And if I can't get that officer, that one officer there, I think that would have to be a detail too, because I'm gonna need to go outside of town. Because I'm gonna be on vacation. If I knew about this ahead of time, I could have worked my vacation around it, but at this point, tickets are already bought and I'm not even gonna be in town for this, right? So you're possibly gonna have one officer covering for me as it is, and then have to work that day. So we're gonna be short-staffed anyway, because again, I had heard about it, but I hadn't heard it was actually set in stone until last week.
Yeah, if we have an officer, a Grafton officer there, and there's like a domestic call somewhere in Grafton, they're like.
Then he's gonna have to go, but in theory, if it's under 100 people, smaller crowd,
Yeah.
hopefully he won't be needed. But
Yeah.
then if there's anything happening in Grafton, he's gonna have to be pulled away. As soon as you reach that 100 level, I think you're gonna have 2 dedicated officers there, and then after that 501 plus.
Do we have a way of making that happen?
And then that's not speaking to, security wise, because we're not security guys, we're not gonna be checking tickets and things like that. We're there in case something happens, something criminal, like Meadowbrook, and I know Meadowbrook's hopefully a lot bigger than what we're dealing with here, right, a lot bigger, but they still have, fights. All it takes is one fight, and then all of a sudden, someone's seriously injured, which has happened in Meadowbrook multiple times, and then it's a big thing, plus if you have to make an arrest, and there's one officer there, well, now he has to take that person away, take him to booking and all that stuff, and he's not even gonna be there. So if you have 2 officers there, they can handle one arrest, one can leave, the other one can stay, handle the booking, and come back and help out, right? So I think 500, if it's over 100 people, you need 2 detail officers. That would be my recommendation, and I think that's fair based on, kind of what has happened in the past with, events. I don't think the Garlic Festival usually has, 100 plus people, and it's, just different events, library hosted Garlic Festival with kids being
Yeah.
so,
Yeah, it's different.
yeah. But that would be my recommendation to stick to, and then again, Meadowbrook, other concerns, like, I would wanna see a cap. I mean, we have no security at this, Meadowbrook has security, Meadowbrook also has metal detectors and stuff like that. I'm not saying that's what it should be, but that's more of a controlled environment. I just don't know what we're getting into. That's why I'm giving the numbers that I'm giving, is for just to prevent something, hopefully, just by officer presence. Fair.
So is there any other plan for any type of security outside of having the police there?
I was talking about having security, but like, I mentioned that to these guys, like, if something goes out of hand, they have no jurisdiction to do anything. So like, that's,
Yeah, well, they don't, but that might, help. And they're gonna be on wristbands, is that how you can tell if somebody has a admission?
Yeah, so I'm gonna have, so if somebody buys a ticket that day, we're gonna have a wristband on them, stays on them, they can come in and out of the premises, that'll be fenced around, so the whole place will be fenced off, so people just don't sneak in and out without a ticket.
What kind of fence is that gonna be,
Snow fence.
snow fence?
It's gonna be snow fence all around, so it's gonna be
Okay, so
partially.
you have to go through some sort of gate to get in there.
Yes.
Is there gonna be a way for us to know how many people are expected, because tickets are gonna be sold at the gate, correct?
Yeah, it's gonna be 2, it's gonna be one, like, where the, people going in is,
Okay.
and it's gonna be down one where like the playground is, where parking to go down.
So, I guess my concern is, Meadowbrook usually knows a pretty precise number on how many people draw these big concert venues, because usually tickets are sold ahead of time, and then they're capped out, so they know, I'm concerned, of an accurate way to determine how many people are coming. So I'd like to see a cap of some sort, and then maybe for a fair estimate, and then again, I'm just spitballing here, so if anyone else has other ideas, but let's say you guys have sold 100 tickets, do you take that number and double it to account for the amount of people who are gonna show up and buy at the gate, or, That's my concern, is I don't want to see, this be something big, which, I'm hoping it's not, and it'll be a nice event for everyone, but, things happen and all of a sudden it gets blown up out of proportion. So I would like to see a couple safeguards and then just a way for me to get an estimate, so I know what we're dealing, and hopefully I can provide, officers, depending on what the event needs.
Exactly, I mean, my cap for myself is like 500, if that. There's no, I feel like there's gonna be no more than 500 or possibly less. Honestly, because there's gonna be people coming in and out.
Okay. But, so in detail wise, if I have to go out of town or even, it's a big ask for my officers, so I don't know if I can pay them standard fee. I mean, the detail rate's $90 an hour per officer, so, I mean, it's something, usually departments have a 4-hour minimum. So, I mean, if it's something and it's a whole lot of nothing, I mean, I just say 500 people, you're gonna want those 2 officers at the very minimum. And if it's a whole lot of nothing and people start to leave, you might be able to cut one of those officers free, right, if it's going good, but all it takes is, one incident to all of a sudden need more officers, so. So I don't know if you guys figured into that, or ticket prices or anything like that, if that's even doable.
Online, free have been sold, like,
Okay.
none have been sold, so like Shirley even said, like, it's kind of gonna be one of those day of decisions, like, no spontaneous.
Yeah, and that's what I'm worried about, because is it gonna be, 50 people making these spontaneous decisions, or is it gonna all of a sudden be,
300,
yeah, 3,000,
Exactly,
4,000, something crazy.
Like 300.
And then, traffic and stuff like that, we have to worry about too, so I mean, now thinking about it, you have one officer, he might need to be in there and help, get out, make sure nothing happens, and you might need to have another officer directing traffic at the very end of the event. And it all situations dependent, because we need that for the fireworks, but if it's people coming in and trickling out throughout the day, then by the time the event's done, if there's 10 people left, you really don't need a traffic officer. But I think it's better to plan on the safer side.
Oh,
So those are just some of my thoughts and recommendations for I guess, officer presence, and give you guys an idea of cost and things like that. And that's not including, I don't know what the, statute is or anything for fire and ambulance and stuff like that, so I don't know.
So is there gonna be parking right on the rec field? So then part of it's gonna be fenced off for the
Yes.
activities? Okay, do you think that we might need additional porta potties? Or do we have 3 down there?
We have 3 down there, and there's a possibility of adding a couple more.
And we never recovered the one that got stolen, right?
No, so I lost.
Yeah, you did. That's unfortunate. Okay, and trash barrels,
We got plenty of
we got
trash
20 trash barrels, and you said that you would clean up
Yeah,
like you normally do.
like we
So
always do.
if it's just a small, like we think it might be, then it's not a big deal, and there shouldn't be that much trash either.
No, well, the being with 4th of July, there's
Yeah.
2 of us that take and clean the field.
Thank you very much. Who else?
Me and Glenn.
Thank you, Glenn and Ed. And that's fine. My concern is that it gets a lot bigger than everybody anticipated. I just want us to be
Well, we-
ready. You know?
But we're willing to put a cap on it, so that,
I think that's great, and I appreciate that, so. So, right now we have 3 tickets that are sold on Eventbrite.
Yeah, so pretty much out of the window on online ticketing, so it's
Uh-huh.
probably gonna be like a day decision to go to the festival.
And I guess this isn't a town event because it's sponsored by the rec committee.
it's a town event.
You know, and that's a concern as far as insurance goes.
As long as the rec committee's putting it on, we're covered, and we're putting it on.
And if anything happens, the town will take the blame for it.
Yeah, if it blows up, then that's a problem, but if you cap it, then.
On our shoulders, not the rec committee. And another thing I got asked is, so tickets are $5 a piece. So if you go with the Canadian ambulance and detail, you've gotta sell
For every 500 tickets. it's-
500 tickets to make any sort of profit. It's $2,300 for the ambulance for 8 hours, detail for 8 hours. as if Mitchell has got a detail. Which I don't understand how he won't be able to get a detail, because if we have two cops in Grafton rec field, who's patrolling the rest of the town? Kanan,
State police?
yeah,
So,
and
yeah.
they have issues with that.
So any additional signage that you're gonna put up,
Such as,
parking, no parking?
yeah, it'll be like we, do for Independence Day,
And there's no fees for the band,
you know?
and Ethan's taking,
He's
you're
getting.
just doing this because you like doing this.
I just love music, I'm a musician myself, I went to college for music, and I'm just, music brings people together, and that's all I wanna do, and then just donate the money to Grafton.
And porta potties, we don't need new ones, but they'll need to be probably cleaned afterwards, and that's something that,
That's normally done anyways.
I myself is providing porta potties on my end,
okay.
I paid for, my family paid for them, it's all, so there's gonna be 4 more down there.
We should probably have ours cleaned before that too.
Yeah.
And then the next morning, he's gonna pick them up, and then, we'll be gone.
So there's no fees for cleanup, because we're doing it. The gates, you answered about the gates, you're gonna have that snow fence around it with an opening. You have walkie-talkies, that's for pagers. You have enough trash barrels.
Yep.
And I already said porta potties, Ethan gets no fees. The bands are getting no fees. The band's probably bringing their entourage with them, whatever that might be, 2, 3 extra people per band, I would imagine, to help them set up.
I will be setting up too, helping them.
And you'll be helping them as
Full
well?
experience in that, yes.
Any other staff that you might have?
I'll have 2 people doing ticket purchases and stuff.
Okay.
I will be in charge of,
And that's volunteer too.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely, yeah, everyone knows.
So that's how you're keeping your expenses down, because everybody's kicking in for this, including the bands. Some of these bands are from Massachusetts, that's a long way to come up for
I believe one is Maryland.
no fee.
Yeah.
And we talked about security, and I guess security is a big concern if if it gets too big. I think that's basically what I have for questions.
An issue what I'd like to see is the police, fire, and ambulance situation be settled before this takes place. Because I'd rather see an ambulance there,
Yeah.
and not have anything happen, than have a fight break out and you got 13 people bleeding.
Yeah.
Because that's gonna get expensive, we have to have a lot of ambulances come down and take people away. Because our ambulance crew is short-staffed. Very overworked. Today is the 10th. Our next meeting is next Tuesday.
Yeah.
Is that the same day?
Same day, yeah, Garlic Festival finishes, and then you can go over and listen to music.
That's another issue. They're not happy about that, but we'll talk about that later.
Okay.
Yeah, the 16th is our next meeting.
Conflicting events.
About pulling vendors from them and going to the rec community. Don't laugh at it, you bitch every 4th of July about the fire department doing it to the rec committee.
But they have no vendors that are gonna be coming,
I don't know, this is what I'm told,
yes.
I just
but
want
they piggyback it off them.
say it was not my idea to plan it on October 11th, which is an agreement from the rec committee that it would just be ending on that date. I never pitched in posting on October 11th.
The only other concern I would have is with the insurance, and once again, if you have a cap on it, worst case scenario, 10,000 people show up, something happens, our insurance carrier says, hey, this wasn't a town event, this was a music festival, so you're on your own, Grafton. So we need just to tread easily to make sure that we keep it as,
Did we talk
I don't want it to
about
be so small it's not worth it, but
this?
under control.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
So So on one of the posters, it does say something about food trucks and vendors being there. And I just heard somebody say something about no vendors are gonna be there.
At the Driving Festival.
Just wanted to clarify.
Yeah.
Anybody else have questions?
Is this public comment time? Is that what
Sure.
you're asking?
Yep.
Okay.
We're gonna do the whole meeting, public comment rules. Please state your name, so Sarah can get your name down on. Yeah.
5 minutes, all that.
Yeah, 2 minutes.
2 minutes. Okay, my call on?
Yeah.
Okay, Ryan Huff. So first of all, I've never met Ethan, I don't think. Have we met? Okay, yeah. Good to meet you. So, I mean, as far as I'm concerned, I think he did the right thing. He came to the town government, he went to the rec committee, like, as far as he knows, that's the right thing to do. So, you know, I only know